My name is Caroline Mfikwe. I'm just going to take over until Miss Maifadi is ready to proceed. So, welcome everyone to the exam preparation workshop day 2. And on behalf of the UNISA Gauteng region, I would like to say welcome to all our students and thank you for honoring this invitation. So without wasting any more time, I would like to welcome Miss Pinky Mwandla, who will do the welcoming and purpose of the day.
Good morning, colleagues. Good morning to our student. My name is Pinky Mwandla. It is a pleasure to welcome you all to our exam preparation workshop. Just like yesterday, today we have interesting speakers that I would like to welcome. A warm welcome to you, Mr. Shivambu. Mr. Shivambu will be talking more about disciplinary matters, of which I'm pretty sure that we do not want to find ourselves in their offices. And secondly, a warm welcome to you, Mr. Xolile Kaba. Mr. Xolile will tell us more about scanner apps and other technical support. We know we use scanner apps when we're writing our exams, and sometimes we encounter problems, so we will know what to do when we face those challenges. Oh, lastly, a warm welcome to you, Mr. Fatuan Makahane. Mr. Fatuan will be helping us to know how we can prepare for these upcoming exams. Students and colleagues, without further ado, please feel welcome and thank you so much for joining this workshop.
For those who were present, we went through assignment matters, examination administration, how to answer exam questions, and your proctoring tools. Now, without wasting time, I would like to call Mr. Xolile Gaba, who will be talking about your scanner apps and other technical support.
My name is Xolile Gaba. I am based in the Technology Enhanced Learning Unit of the university, but at the Ekurhuleni Regional Services Center. So what I am going to be speaking to you about, and I do not want you to forget or discard that what was discussed with you yesterday. In recapping, our chairperson did give an idea that they spoke about the proctoring tools yesterday, and those are still very important and vital for the students to remember and to have make sure they know which are the relevant proctoring apps they will need for the exams. So this, what I'm showing you, is in addition to all the proctoring tools that you will use. So as you will see, I have written there, or it's written there, this is in the event of a student who has done a handwritten examination. And I think there's many reasons why students are writing their exams by hand. It might be that your device is not fast enough, you don't have a device, then you prefer to write by hand, which means pen on paper. Now, if you have written pen on paper, at the end of the day, you have to submit that examination that was written on paper. For you to do that, you would have to first scan the document. So if it is a 5-pager note, exam or script that you have written by pen, you then will have to scan the 5 pages to form one file. Now, before that is done, you obviously must ensure that you have installed on your device a scanner app or a PDF scanner, so that you are able to scan the handwritten examination for it to become a soft copy, which is then a PDF file. And you will see I've shown a few examples of scanner apps. And I am not saying if you've already installed a scanner app or PDF scanner onto your device that you must discard it. If it has been working for you, please proceed to use it. This is for the students who have not downloaded it yet. You will have to download it. It depends what kind of operating system your device has. If it's an Android phone, then it's the second option where you will go to your Google Play stores. I think the other one is there's what we now call Hawaii or so. They also have their own store, which is, I'm sure you guys will know what it is called. You will go to download your PDF scanner from there. The top one, which is App Stores, is for all students who are having a Apple phone or iPhone maybe. Then you will download the scanner and test it. Maybe if you haven't gotten it yet, start testing it now to see how it works, because these scanner apps are giving you options to scan either a single page or multiple pages. Now, if your assignment was multiple pages, it means that you have to download it. I mean, not download, it will be downloaded, but choose the option for multiple scans or multiple page scans, which will then complete the scan in one file. If it was 5 pages or 10 pages, you will then have one file scanned. Remember, once the file is scanned, this is to show you that you would open the scanner of your device from your device, go to the script that is written by hand, scan it until it shows that it's scanned, and then you do all pages. And this is what you should then have as an end result once it is scanned onto the phone. So it now sits on your phone and it's given a default file name. Maybe it's called scanned file or scanned document. You may want to give it the appropriate file name as per the examination requirement, which could be where you need to enter your student number and the module code to indicate that it is your file for that particular module. Let's say it is for INF 4860. That will be my student number 12345 space or underscore, then the module code. So now I have actually saved this handwritten file. As you can see in front of you, it's written by hand, but it's scanned, and this file is it can now be submitted for exams and for it to be marked. Please ensure that your handwriting is clearer than what you see in front of you here, so that it's easy for the marker to see what you have written, and it makes it easy for them to mark you fairly and you get a proper mark during that exam. Right, this, remember, is for the students who prefer to write the examinations by hand. The students who prefer typing their examinations will proceed to type their examinations through Microsoft Word, and then you will convert that file to PDF on your computer. All right, so this is to show you how you then will convert a file to PDF. That is for a typed file. The previous one, which is the handwritten one, is automatically converted to PDF by that program which you would have used. Sorry, I am pressing fast here, and I see I am now not even able to move. Oh, there. This is the one that is automatically becoming PDF as you have scanned it onto your PDF scanner. But now when you have typed in MS Word, that file is not automatic and it must not be submitted as MS Word. You have to convert it to PDF. Here will be the steps of how you will do that. So you would have typed the file, the assignment in your MS Word document. Once done, you please don't want to discard or lose the Word file. You want to save it onto your computer so that you can always refer back to it once you realize that you have made an error or that you have omitted a question in the examination. The only place where you can make the change or the addition would be in the original Word file. The PDF file will not allow for you to go and make any changes. It's almost like a secured and a locked file for people not to tamper with the file, right? So for you to do that, you would have open your Microsoft Word document. Then the steps would be to go File, which is at the top left of your screen usually, and then you look for the option Save As. Once you've clicked on Save As, you will see what I have put on the screen for you. It will now give you an option to go at Save As Type, which is almost at the bottom left of the window. And this option is where you get your different kinds of extensions. So here we would be looking for the PDF extension, and you will see that I have selected it. It's really just a matter of clicking on it, and once you've clicked on PDF and you press save, that Word document becomes converted to PDF now. So that is the file you will now be able to submit for your examination. Right. So once it's all done and you're ready for your submission of the file as an exam file, this what I'm doing here. I mean, the uploading part of the examination file is applicable to you who has also scanned the file with your phone so that it can be a PDF file. You then will have to sign into the examination portal, which is myexams.unisa.ac.za. In many instances, sometimes it's cares.unisa exams, my Unisa exams. And so you will always be told which of these URLs you need to use for the submission of your examination. And once you have done so, you will notice that it will give you at least 5 days in advance of the examinations that are scheduled in that particular week. So this is an example of exams from last year. The first 5 days were showing when you were, for instance, scheduled for the 2nd of May, you would have clicked on it. And once you click it at the bottom where it says you are viewing the schedule for that module, you would have seen all the modules scheduled for that day. And you will go click on yours. It will also be a link. And through the link, you will have your steps for the upload of the final examination file. Do remember, I would really like to recap here because I think sometimes the students gets a bit confused because I remember in the other session we had a person was asking, so if you say we must scan our files, what about the invigilator app option? Now, these are two different things. The one that you're doing where you're scanning it to be PDF is in order for you to have the completed examination saved and submitted into this platform, because this is where they will locate the examination that you have written or typed and mark it here. The proctoring tool will also require for you to, during the course of your examination, take a picture here or there of a particular page or of the whole script. That is only to go and keep those files on the proctoring tool, and that will help in terms of ensuring that it was the same person who wrote that exam. So if you take a picture through the proctoring tool, which is the Invigilator app, for instance, it goes to sit on that database of the Invigilator app. The Invigilator app's database keeps it for the marker, whoever that comes to do the assessment, to see whether what you have submitted as your examination file, which is what you have submitted here, looks the same as what is on that database, because that was how the invigilation was done. If the two files are looking the same, it's clear that you didn't, after the time, go to put up a file which was never proctored. So these two are just to ensure that the two are the same, but the one that gets marked is the one that you are submitting through the examination platform, which is why I'm stressing the point that when you do the examination, ensure that that examination that you have typed with your hands or written by hand does eventually get uploaded as well. Not just what was asked through proctoring, because 90% of the time, or even more, all the time, they will not be marking the file submitted through proctoring. That is only to ensure that the student did submit and write the exam within the given examination space and or time. That was my presentation. Thank you very much.
What I needed to know was, I know you said if we type it out, we need to scan, put it on the proctoring tool, and then you said we have to upload it on the exam site. So when I was writing, I was just scanning and putting it onto my Invigilator app. Was that incorrect? Do I need to do both? I'm just a little bit confused on that note.
How I was putting it to you is that the Invigilator app usually does say to you, or proctors in through a beep sound, that when you look at the sound, it probably says to you, scan, what do you call it, take a picture of your script, or almost at the end of the examination. Then you will obviously, if you have done it on the screen, take that picture of all the pages. If it's all 5 pages, or if you've handwritten it, you will do that. All right. Now, what it does is it goes to keep that file onto the Invigilator app. It is it's not for marking purposes. So unless if the Invigilator app also does have built into it an option where you then submit the actual examination that you have typed. Now, if that's not there, then they will say to you, that website which I've given to you, you still have to go there and submit your examination there. So it's almost like the one that you have PDF converted to PDF and finished with. That's the one that's going to get marked. The one that is only pictures taken onto the Invigilator app are meant for I haven't got the right word at this moment to use, but it is for invigilation purposes, or for quality, almost quality assurance, to just see that, all right, the PDF file is submitted, here's it, I can see it, the student submitted it at 10:27, for instance. That means it was submitted in time, and page 1 has this up to page 5, everything can be seen on that. So when one goes to the Invigilator app, we want to see the same, that at 10:27, that is when the last picture was taken, and the 5 pages are in that same order. Nothing was added. There is no additional question written after the time of submission. So there was 7 questions, and we shouldn't see 8 in the PDF or the typed one, because then it shows there is some discrepancy. You went ahead with the exam after you were supposed to make your submission. So that's basically why both of them must be submitted.
I wanna ask, if we are writing an exam, so there is an exam that is only indicated that it needs to be typed and not to be in a written way, that you need to scan it and submit it. When writing an exam using a paper and a pen, then convert PDF to submit it, will the Invigilator app be watching it at time?
I don't know whether I did hear him properly. When I type, I use a laptop to type and respond to every request that coming from my invigilator. And then when they say for instance, take a picture of that thing, do this and do that, I do everything that the invigilator requested me to do. And at the end, I take that script into a PDF as he requested me. Do I still have to send the picture that I took from my invigilator to the exam department or not?
I think the point we are trying to make to you in this session is that you are spoiled for choice. All right. Your question was, if I got it right, whether you will be given an instruction to type or to write the exam. By default, we expect for you to type your examinations like it is with the assignments. But some students, for some or other reason, are not able to type or does not have a computer yet, all right, then you probably prefer to write by hand. So then it is a choice for you to write it by hand and still ensure that it gets submitted the same way as how I've explained it. For it to be received by a marker, remember, maybe I must use an example of your assignments. At this stage, when you do an assignment, you are typing it, you're making it PDF, then you are asked to go and submit that assignment through the assignments tab in the right module, and then it gets received by a marker at the end of the day, who is going to use that file to mark and allocate you a mark at the end of the day. Let us just reverse this to exam situation. That what you have typed or written, still must be submitted through the platform, which is the exams platform, for it to be received by a marker, and that the marker can give a mark according to what you have submitted. With regards to, I think the last person, I'll come back to Nompendulo. In Claudi's case, he was asking if he must, at the end of the exam, send the pictures of those, send those pictures which he took through the Invigilator app. Remember that those pictures that you are taking through the Invigilator app becomes uploaded by the Invigilator itself. So it is an automatic process. As you take the picture, the Invigilator app uploads, keeps it on the Invigilator database. You are not going to have to take those pictures and submit them for marking, but you are going to take your PDF, the Word file, you convert it into PDF, and that is what you are submitting for it to get marked. So the file or the document that gets marked is the actual file you typed, which you converted into PDF and went into the web, the link that is given for submission, and that must be received by a marker, and that file will be allocated a mark. It is through that file that you know whether you are failing or passing. This one that was taken through the prompts of the Invigilator app was simply just to ensure that you are writing the exam at the right time, that the content that is in the pictures that are uploaded on that separate database, which is the Invigilator app, will look the same as the actual examination file that you are submitting into the exams. You know, that one that says my exams at unisa.ac.za, where you would have submitted that. And I hope that is becoming clear now. Maybe I don't know how to explain it better than that, but I hope it is clear. Nompendulo, you also asked, or your question was with regards to writing by pen and paper. Remember, we are not saying stop typing your examinations. We are saying if you are not able to, at a given point in time during an exam or for a certain examination, type it, and you prefer to write it by hand, you will do so. The Invigilator app is going to perform the same way as it performs for a student who is writing the exam through a computer. Remember, you are installing the Invigilator app onto your smart device, not onto a computer. So the phone where it is installed onto will give you prompts or sounds during the course of the exam, where it gives you an instruction of what to do. Take a picture of your script. Take a picture of yourself. That kind of instruction will come through. So yes, it is still proctoring the examination, or it is still invigilating that examination, whether it's written by pen and paper or by computer. Thank you very much.
I've got 3 questions. Sorry, I know it's a lot, but I just want to confirm. The first question is, I want to know, is there a specific way that we need to rename the PDF when you typed it on Word and you convert it to PDF? Do you use your student number and then the module code, or how do we rename that? The second question was, I want to confirm with the Invigilator app, when you write an open book exam, like for an example, my case, one of my modules is an open book, but we still need to use the Invigilator app. Obviously, they will need to be informed that it's an open book, and they ask you to take a picture of your area where you're writing. Then your book is going to be there. That should not be a problem, should it? I just want to confirm. Oh, the last question. It was just to confirm that the My Exams platform, it will be loaded on the My UNISA platform as in the past. Is that correct? So that's just the 3 that I have.
Yes, I wanted to ask, how can 9-to-5 workers be successful in completing their exam in terms of time?
I think as a student, and your employer is most probably aware that you are studying as much as we are aware as an institution that you are employed, because you've given us that indication when you registered or applied. So we know at least how many of our students are employed. So what I know is there must be a policy in our different companies that we are working for, that one can apply for what is called study and examination leave. So you will have to go and take study and examination leave from your employer in order for you to be able to prepare yourself for your exams and still be able to write your examinations. Maybe it will differ from company to company. Some companies gives a day before the exam and the day of the examination, so that you can go and catch up with what you have learned throughout the semester, because the expectation is that you would have learned, you want to probably just recap so that you can be ready for the exam. So it's a day before and then the day of the examination. So you need to actually have that conversation with your company or HR and hear from them how they can assist in terms of giving you the examination days off for you to write your exams. That's how I think you can be accommodated, because you are working. I hope that responds to you. But like I said, if my other colleagues who are in here would have a different, want to add to this, they will probably do so at the right time. I want to go to Adele. Adele, unless an instruction is given in terms of the renaming of the file, unless if you are given a direct instruction on the examination paper as to how you ought to rename the file, if that instruction is existing on the exam instructions, you will rename it to what the examination instructions are expecting of you to name that file. If not, what I would do, I would simply just put down my student number and my module code, because then there wasn't a clear instruction of what it must be called. That was your first question. The second one was speaking about open book exams. I've the experience that I have in terms of open book exams was with CTA examinations written by students, and they were using Iris. So not the Invigilator app, but maybe yours is requiring of you to use the Invigilator app. What was happening in that kind of setup is that the students did have their textbooks, because it's an open book, and yes, they were allowed to have, and if they had to take pictures of it, that was not going to disqualify them, because it is known that it is an open book examination. So in your case, if it's done through the Invigilator app and it's open book, I am sure that it will be known that INF 1520 is an open book exam for the 15th of May. So open book means prescribed material only, maybe just a textbook, not handwritten notes and crypt notes from here or there. So nothing that is going to expose you to cheat the examination. It must be from the material that you were told to use for that exam. So if it was said, do not use a study guide, do not use the memorandum of the assignments that you have received back, only use a textbook, then that is what you will only have to use. If you use anything beyond that, it means you are now going beyond the rules of that examination. Hope that is clear. The third one, with regards to whether my exams will still be on my NISA like in the past, as far as I haven't seen any communication, but I think there's somebody, maybe Ms. Nyandeni might be able to give us an idea on whether my exams will still be accessible, or your exams will still be accessible through my NISA. But if that's not the case, remember the link we were speaking about. It's either a CAS or it's a My Exams kind of link, and that is usually communicated to the students within the instructions, either before the exam or even during the examinations, that this is where you can access the examination paper, and that's the same place where you will upload it. Right, but maybe in that regard of whether it will now be different, it might still be the same, that you can either opt to go find it at your My UNISA or through the links that we have discussed earlier on. I thank you very much, Chairperson.
So guys, that was Mr. Gaba. Seeing that I have like 5 minutes, for these 5 minutes as well, because we didn't get the chance to read his bio, I'd like to just quickly read it, just so you understand the pedigree of the speakers that we have today. And we really do appreciate the time he took to attend to you guys. So Mr. Gaba is a seasoned digital learning advisor. He started his career as an ICDL facilitator at De Beers Mine. He moved on to become an IT facilitator at the Advanced Technology Training Institute. Mr. Gaba joined UNISA Ekurhuleni as a digital learning advisor. And he's passionate about helping students harness the power of technology. He's currently pursuing a BSc Honours in Computing with a focus on information systems. So clearly, Mr. Gaba is a valuable asset to the institution and the world of digital learning and technology. I'd like to now continue to our next speaker. We're going to have Mr. Fatwani Makahane. So he is also one of our other valuable assets, and he'll be presenting on examination preparation. Okay, so Mr. Makahane is a student counselor and trauma counselor. He's passionate about research. He has presented in various conferences in Africa and has published numerous articles. Okay, so Mr. Makahane has obtained a master's in educational psychology from the University of Pretoria, an honors inclusive education from UNISA, postgraduate certificate in education from UNISA, honors in psychology from UNISA, and a bachelor of psychology from UNISA. So he is belted. Okay, the qualifications have piled up. So he truly is an esteemed colleague. So, Mr. Makahane, are you around?
I think it's important for you guys to understand that Gaba mentioned something interesting. I think students sometimes they do not know that writing exam at home is as good as they are writing it at the exam center at UNISA, Ekurhuleni, or Johannesburg, or Florida, wherever they're writing. What does it mean? It means that you are not allowed to open your books or come with any other documents. That's why they have an Invigilator app. It's not an open book. There are some modules that they will need you to have books that you can open, peruse, go through them, and so on. But this one, it's a closed book. Therefore, you cannot contact any other material during the process of the exam. That was the thing that I want to pass before we continue with the workshop for exam preparation. Right. Like I've said, this one is mostly about the emotional part, physical part, psychological part, all those kind of aspects that you note, they are also involved in the individual when they are preparing for exam. For example, when you are going to prepare for exam, you need to be in a clear mind. If you are going to write exam, you need to be in a clear mind. So here we're going to be looking at the focusing with the coping with the exam stress, exam preparation, common mistake during exams, and academic integrity. So I think in the academic integrity, I could say Kolile has done me a favor because he has mentioned a lot of things there which I would only just rather take some few aspects which might have been left out, maybe which can also affect your emotions. I think yesterday there was a nice presentation also which spoke about you can tell the iris that I'm going to the restroom. Then because I was of the opinion, I asked them, said, you know what, I feel like our students feel like they are being tried to be caught out of this. So in order for us to avoid that, if I wanted to go, because they will say, yes, we had a door opening and what was happening there. So when you are writing an exam at home, what they expect, because you are not, although you might have told your families that, hey, I'm writing an exam, guys, don't disturb me. But chances are they will still gonna come in and make some noise because they do not know how effective is that. So having said that, it's important for you to also tell Iris when you're going to the loo that, Iris, I'm going to the toilet now. I'll be coming back. And then when you are back, you inform it, because I was asking them in that regards, when they were writing an exam in the center, there will always be somebody who is accompanying them to go to the loo. So why now, when they wanted to go to the loo, when they're at home, the Iris will start to say to them, you have been copying, instead of saying, okay, we understand now, let's have a system in place to allow students to be able to feel like they're still writing an exam in the venue-based exam. So having said that, so we are going to look at those kind of things because they might stress students in the process. When you are busy writing an exam, imagine being told that you have been flagged. You don't even know what flagging means. You are asking yourself, is this a red card or yellow card? So we are going to look at things like those because they can stress you as much as then you are no longer going to perform well in the exam due to that. You can continue, please. Right, coping with stress. sometimes you find, rather not call them clients, students who come to counseling seeking help, and then they use a deep words such as I'm depressed, and they forgot that depression has to be diagnosed by a qualified personnel. So they are going through something because everyone is going through a lot or coming from a lot. So having said that, or they are passing through a lot. So having said that, it means that some people do not even know the difference between depression and stress. So I understand not everyone is a psychology students. There are law students, there are engineering students, and so on. So before you even consider yourself depressed, rather tell the person that I'm going through something that I do not understand. That's why I'm here for you to help me to understand what I'm going through. In most cases, 99% of the things that were found, that people are just stressed, they are not depressed, because depressed has to be diagnosed with the personnel. So that's why we're saying stress among students, right, is a common natural event. I underline that, natural event, which means that there is no student who will study and complete their qualification without going through stress. I'm going to stress that, not to stress. I'm repeating, it's a natural event. What does it mean? It means that there is no students who will complete their qualification without going through stress. Either you are anxious about writing exam, either you are a bit stressed because of the exam paper has been delayed to download, or the network has gone out of the system, or your data is finished. Those are the kind of thing that can cause you to be very stressed. And regardless of which university you are going through. But however, in UNISA and any other universities, we have got an opportunity for people to have to see the counselors in order for them to deal with those kind of stress. So having said that, psychologists found that examination is most common source of stress. Although you have been preparing for exam when you are starting to register to UNISA, you have been doing assignment and all those kind of reading and so on. The idea behind was to prepare for exam. But still, I assure you now, you're still going to be stressed, because stress is a natural phenomena which is going to be there for students. No matter how much we prepare you, you're still going to be stressed. You're still going to be anxious. Why? Because each and every individual has to go through this process of stress and anxious. Next slide, please. Right. There are several things that you can use to cope with stress. If I may ask you, I could just ask 2 volunteers or so. On the first picture on the left-hand side, top right, top left, what do you see? Let's see by the raise of hands. I couldn't see hands, then you can check for me, my family, to check if they are hands there. Then we want volunteers. What do they see in the first picture?
I see a cup. You see that cup where they, like in Catholic churches, where they take the blood of Jesus. It looks like that.
Hey everyone, I see 2 faces.
Okay, so you see faces. All right.
2 faces pointing at each other.
I see people in the gym exercising, and in the background I see a building.
In the first picture at the top left corner.
Oh, I see it's like a cup, like the cup they give you in church for an offering.
Okay.
That's what I see.
All
and then
right.
I do see 2 faces as well.
Yeah, it's interesting because there's a lot of people go to church here. In my church, we use a bucket for offering because we expect a lot of money. I see a vase and 2 faces. Yeah, those who have seen a vase only and those who see 2 faces facing each other only, it's fine as well. So what is happening is that we have got whole brain learners and left-hand brain learners and right brain learners. And then when you are able to incorporate those 2 things and you saw the vase and again you saw 2 faces facing each other, then you are whole brain learner. So whole brain learners, they are easily can adapt to each situation, even they can adjust their study pattern. So however, the challenge is when coming to career, there will be those who are career hopping because they do not have a specific career that they can stick to. So therefore, those are the whole brain learners because they've got too much things. They know a lot of things. They know maths. They know social sciences. They know a lot of things. So the left-hand brainers, they are the maths people. The right-hand brainers, they are the social people as well. So those are so you choose your career based on your brain dominance. So that's what we're saying when we talk about the brain learners. So again, yes, you were talking about the physical exercise. Those are the coping mechanisms that can help you to deal with stress. The other thing that has been proved to be very effective for those who are married is sex. Sex is a good stress reliever. It has been proven. Yesterday in the men's conference at UNISA, there, when we were having a workshop for men, so they were talking about it as well. So it's very important for you guys to expand your mind and try to understand as much as possible. We're not going to go deep on that. I see people are laughing, they're happy, they think I will disclose. I won't. I will not talk about that. I will focus only on the exam preparation, which is what I have now. Right. Sometimes you can speak to someone mostly about, you can also speak about to the psychologists. Some of us were psychologists. We've got registered counselors as well. So guys, please, when you feel like things are too hard on you, don't sit alone and say things will solve themselves. There is nothing which will solve themselves. You have got a headache, you say it's going to go away by itself. No. You either have to drink a lot of water, you either have to consult and buy some medication to get rid of the headache, because it might be a symbol that there are some underlying problems that you may have. So leaving it to solve itself, it might create more problems. Next slide. We have got aspect of stress. We spoke about that. Stress as an inner center. So then all those things on the side, that the things which are supporting or causing stress, anxiety, fear, worry, or distress. We're not talking about the worry in a complete sense, like generalized anxiety disorder, where in a person worries about everything. You worry about, I've lost my pen. You worried about what I'm going to eat tonight. You worried about what I'm going to dress tomorrow. You worried about your work. You worry about everything. That becomes a generalized anxiety disorder. That becomes a disorder. But it's normal for a person to worry. We have some few worries that we must have as human beings. Some of us, we are not working or whatever, so we worried where we're going to get money to pay for our funds because NEPSAS hasn't responded to us. All those kind of things, they can bring about worries. Then they lead us to become stressed. So we've got anxiety. You can be anxious about something, anticipating something, and so on. Sometimes you fear that you will fail, and if I fail, the person who's paying for my study is more likely to stop, continue paying for me. So all those aspects lead you to develop stress. And if stress becomes major and untreated and becomes uncontrollable, that's where we're talking about danger, which leads to depression. Because depression is difficult to come back from depression. It can be controlled because it's a chronic disorder. So therefore, you can live with depression with medication and psychotherapy. Stress is something that comes now and go. So there are those who have got stress and uncontrollable stress, which continues, which can lead them to depression. So before you go through that, rather go and see someone, talk to someone, talk to family member, talk to us, and talk to somebody whom you trust a lot, and disclose, talk about things that is stressing you so that they can be resolved. Next slide. Right. There is an issue of time management. Managing time has been seen to be very important, because once you have got time at your disposal and you utilize it based on the way you answer question, what I have identified is that I think in all exams, multiple choice for 50 questions, in most cases, they give you 2 minutes for each question, if I'm not mistaken. That is why you have got how many hours to answer that? You have got 2 hours to answer a 50 multiple choice question. If they're 100, they increase the time as well, because each multiple choice question has got 2 minutes to answer it. It's very important for you to note that, because wasting time on one question, it already taken time for the next question. I repeat, wasting time was the question that you don't know the answer, although the multiple choice options are given there. it takes your toll to the next question, and then it will make you not to complete your your exam. Therefore, if you don't know the answer, jump that question. You will come back to it if you still have time. If you don't have time, it's fine. Either way, you do not even know it. So if you don't want to jump, choose anything and then continue, because you are more likely to forget that you have to jump, and then you answer the following question on the same space for the previous question. Then your whole exam is messed up. I think I'm saying something interesting here. Right now, there are those one who study on the last minutes. I heard my learned friend Tolile talking about the day preparing the exam the day before, what, but he was not deeper into the content. He was talking about the errors and so on. So now, my advice is never ever, unless you've got a brain of Fatwan, because my brain is different, it doesn't work like any other people. I can prepare for exam now when I'm going to write in the afternoon, and then I'm fine. My brain can keep that information. But I found out that 99.9% of people don't have that kind of brain. So never ever prepare exam the day before exam. You are going to flatter. Let me tell you why. Say, for instance, you prepared last night, because that's what we call cram work. You cram the whole night. The following day, boom, there is load shedding or whatever. That stresses you, right? It goes back to stress now. Then the brain, which is responsible for storing that short-term information, which is short-term memory, is going to be affected, because that is an emotional brain. You store all information which is for short-term cramming work in a memory brain, and that alone, when it's affected, everything goes out or it sink deeper in such a way that you won't find it now. That is why only after you are done with the exam, all the answers comes out. Why? Because now the brain was tired, now the brain is relaxed, now it can remember everything and the time is gone. Yes, I'm telling you, to be honest, only my brain does that, because I'm a different person. Right, in the other exams, we call it emergency studying. Then you accept the fact that you cannot study everything. That's normal. How do you want to study? Imagine UNISA gave you the book which has 500 something pages, 5 of those for 5 modules. When are you going to finish them? Because I cannot even finish one book in the whole year for 500. You are failing to finish to read the whole Bible in the 1 year. Now you want to finish 5 books for UNISA. How is that possible? I heard a lot of you talking about a church, what. You are failing to read the whole Bible the whole year. Now you want to study the whole 5 books for UNISA in less than 6 months, because I can't say 6 months. You register already in February. You are going to write the exam in March, in April. So we've got 3 months for you to prepare for 5 books. You expect yourself in that small head. Hi. Even if you give you head office, the big one, you cannot be able to store that information. Therefore, read only what the lecturer wants you to read. Study only what the lecturer wants you to study. Where do you find that? The tutorial letter and the study guide are the guidelines which gives you where the lecturer will be asking you a question. If the lecturer asks you anything out of context which is not there, that's where you've got the opportunity to ask him. But you gave me study guide for nothing and the tutorial letter for nothing. Why did you wanted me to read the whole book if you don't want that? This is not doctoral where you expect you to go and do research. It's something smaller. That's why they give you a guideline. That's why they give you a tutorial letter to gauge you that this is what they want you to know into exam, because you cannot be able to cater for everything in your small head, because your head is even smaller than Papa's big head. Right. In your own words, write and explain definition and so on. So that's very important, because you need to understand that you compare your response and the source of information. It's very important. There is no reference into exam according to Part 1 in 1919. Where will you remember all those things? Don't stress yourself. Exam is simple and straightforward. There is nothing to worry about as compared to assignment which you write at home. Edit or rewrite your understanding of each topic and your information. Simplify it for yourself. Simplify it for yourself. Simplify it for yourself in the sense that when you simplify it for yourself, it's easier for you to be able to know exactly what you are doing. So therefore, basically based on that, you can then easily be able to have something to work with. You understand? So having said that, it's very important for you to manage your time. Let's see how many of you, I just need 2 volunteers, only 2. I mean, two. Or three. How many animals do you see there? How many animals do you see there? And you're going to tell us where do you see it? Quickly, just tell us. Let's hear.
You see 5 animals. Okay.
I see 4 animals. There's an elephant, a donkey, a dog, a cat. It's actually 5, and a rat.
Okay. Thank you very much.
If I can say to you, there are close to 10, there are 10 or more animals, what can you say? So you want to tell me that you do not see a snake and a shark? The tail of an elephant, it's a snake. The tusk of an elephant, it's a shark. There is even a Lacoste, or what do you call it? Crocodile. I won't tell you where. So send them this so that they can even be able to see what kind of learners are they. So it's fine. We are not fighting, guys. Sometimes I speak hard, so don't think I'm fighting. Eh? So I love you. I don't want to fight with you. You are my people, and you make sure that my salary is in my bag, and I love you guys. So we are not fighting. So don't say, yeah, he was shouting at us. You know? He was shouting. Why did he shout at us? Right, next slide. Just give them. I don't want to explain to them because they will say, yeah, it's only you can see that. Right. Lacoste. the small crocodile. What's your problem? Right. If you can look on the top right, top right picture, top left, yeah. There is a motivation there which speaks about which step have you reached today. I won't do it. That's a negative talk. I can't do it. I want to do it. That's positive. It's moving from negative to positive. So every day you can use that as a motivation. But I won't use the word I want because that is a negative. I can't. Why should you have that? Because you can still do it. The bottom line is whatever I wanted to do, we can do it so long as we put our mind to it. So therefore, what does success mean to you? How much do you believe in yourself? You need to believe in yourself. I remember there was another picture that I used to have. I don't know. I did not give it to my colleagues to put it for me. It's like there were 3 kids. Number 1 was crying. Number 2 was happy a bit. Number 3 was the most happiest one. Because the number 3 understand the reality. But if I've managed to reach here, that's good. But number 1 is crying that why number 3 is happy. So which means that some success for other people is believed to be misery for others, which is not a true happiness, because true happiness, it shouldn't be based on the misery of others. It should be about everyone moving together for their own benefit. Do you understand? So if you look on the picture on the right, on the bottom, on the right hand side, extreme right, you will see that there are 3 guys, 3 gentlemen. The other one will have got a ladder, another one has got a smaller in the middle. The other one, but they cannot see these 2. Why? Because they cannot think like the guy who had only 2 slabs. Okay, the guy who had got 2 slabs, he decided, you know what, I do not want to be depressed. The other thing that they can do, these guys, for all of them to be in the same process, they either put all these slabs on top of the first guy, then all of them, they can stand on them and then they can see there. That is when we talk about equality, wherein everyone is equal to the other, not equity wherein you are given based on what you deserve. So this is what is equity, when you're given based on what you deserve. Wherein whether you can see, but we gave you enough the same for the others. But they forgot that we've got different abilities. So that alone, having different abilities is the matter of the thing which caused us to be where we are now. So even exam in itself, and don't ask me why I don't speak to you about it. We've got different abilities. Some of them, they are auditory learners. Some of them, they are technical learners. Some of them, they are visual learners. So exam does not cater for everyone. So therefore, we are given an opportunity to adjust instead of exam to be adjusted to fit us. Those are the aspects that we talk about. But basically, based on that, I want you to always use the available resources that you have at your disposal to make sure that it helps you to grow further. Next one. People are slaying the animals. They're so stressed. Why did I say 5? He says 10. Really? That's not true. Right. Common mistake during exam preparation: procrastination, the thief of time. I will do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. You will fall like that gentleman there, Fatwana, sleeping there, sleeping with the book becoming your pillow. You think you're gonna dream in the exam what is inside the book? Another guy once cook the book and drink the total of the book, thinking that in the exam, because you are what you eat, you are going to think about it. So it doesn't work like that. So don't procrastinate. You just need to study. Whatever the situation is, whenever you must have a short-term goal and long-term goal. Make sure that all your goals are catered every time. Not having a plan. If you fail to plan, you are planning to fail already. You already failed. So therefore, because I know university students are hardy, therefore they don't plan to fail. So from today onwards, you must always have a plan at hand. How I'm going to tackle this exam, which is giving me trouble. Start a support group, for whatever you call it, a study group, not a support group, a study group, so that you can start helping each other there. Reviewing information that you already know, cramming the night before, that's dangerous. That's a mistake. Negative thinking about exam, about your studies. What then? Because people don't get jobs when I'm finished. Why do you care about people? Are you people or you are a person? So why don't you think that you alone you can get that job, right? You can create even job for others. Don't worry about whether 100 of graduates are not having jobs. What about you? What about if they don't have skill to look for a job? I don't even worry whether they will say, you know what, there is a lot of people who don't get jobs. Why are you sending your kids to school? No, they are not like them. They must get jobs. They must work hard to make sure that they get jobs. There is no way that there's no jobs. Why others are being employed, others are not being employed? That's why people go to interview. Not everyone passes interview, because there is always jobs, but it's for specific people who are working hard and working smart. Next slide. Common mistake continues: failing to follow instruction. If the question says mention, when you start to elaborate, that's a problem. You are wasting time in the wrong question. The question that needs you to elaborate, you won't have time for it. If the question says mention, name, it does not say discuss. I passed that. Failing to identify and define important technical terms. Describe, explain, define. All those aspects are the aspects that you need to know. Writing too much or too little. That one, I think, my good doctor yesterday has explained by rule of thumb. If the question is 15 marks, that's a rule of thumb. We call it heuristic in psychology. It's heuristic, simple rule of thumb. Is that if the question is only 15 marks, you don't need to write 3 pages. That's crazy. Just half quarter a page with facts is enough for 15 marks. Okay? Writing too much or too little, stating with the most difficult question, careless error. When the exam has got 2 types, first part is multiple choice, second part is short questions. Don't jump and start with the short questions, because your answers for the short questions might be on the multiple choice. I repeat, don't be too pushed to say I'm going to start with this one because they're going to delay my time. You will find that you wrote the wrong answers, and then the answers on the multiple choice there, because that's how it is. These people, I won't tell you again. I'm teaching you tricks here. Lectures, they are not out to get you. No, there's no lectures out to get you. If they are out to get you, we're going to get them as well. Next slide. Online exams. I think they've spoken much about the online exams, and then it's a closed book, guys. There's no excuse. It's not an open book exam. Once you come to counseling and said I want counseling because they said I was copying, I was cheating, and I was just opening my book because I was writing at home, I would just say, please don't waste my time. Please don't waste my time. Writing an exam online does not necessarily mean that you are going to be given a chance to open. It's not an open book. It's a closed book, please. You have to write exam as if you are writing in the exam venue. Online exams have time limits. There's time limits. That's why my learned friend, my good friend Kolile, mentioned that on that time that you are given, if they give you extra 45 minutes, it's not for you to write another question that you left out. It's for submitting the paper. And that is why most students, you find that even with that 45 minutes, they still don't have time to submit the paper because they use the wrong time for the wrong reason. These students of mine, Mara, I give up shame. 45 minutes is not your time. They were supposed to say after 2 hours or 3 hours, exam is finished. They close. Then they say after 5 minutes, we're going to open time for loading script, right? Therefore, we will see who's going to start writing again after that time. Because now, when they give you that time, you said, now I still have 45 minutes. No, 45 minutes is for loading the script. Please, imagine wasting the whole 2 hours writing the paper and the time you prepared. At the end of the day, you cannot even submit the paper. That's it. It's more tempting not to study for an online open book exam, thinking that I will open the book in the exam. Still, even if it's an open book, you must already be prepared because you cannot get that information in your fingertip if you don't know which page is it. Then you can put some bookmarks. If you, as an open book, it's easier for you to go through. Do not be fooled by the fact that it's online. This does not change the fact that it's an exam. So therefore, that's why we've got a lot of things. We've got iris, we've got what is this other one. And I saw it nice now. Another student called me, said, Prof, tell me, I'm so stressed. Even the assignment now, they've got a webcam, iris, or whatever you call it. I don't even know their names. That other one which look like an owl. I said, good shot. Now, you are going to start learning now how to use proto-king. There's no excuse of saying in the exam, I did not know how to do it. So that owl will be looking at you now when you're writing assignment. And again, it's going to look at you when you're writing exam. That owl, I don't know where the user got that owl, That owl, they will be looking at you. Owl have got big eyes. They zoom, they look at you, You are so stressed this side. The owl says, take a picture. They even talk those owls, Next slide, also. I just want them to laugh a bit, man. Right, exam preparation continues. Exam preparation 2024 May, June. Exam timetable, check your timetable. This thing of timetable, don't take it for granted. I once went to the exam when it was written yesterday because of not checking. During my years, don't ask me which donkey years. Then when I reached there, hi, Mamuchu is not there. Went to the invigilator. Why Mamuchu is not here? Which one? So and so. No, it's written yesterday. I said, no, it cannot be written yesterday. When they showed me, I was embarrassed. I said, no, I think the lecturer has made a mistake. Then I left, but I was so frustrated. Then I had to restart that module again that year, at that time, because I was angry for it. The following semester, I got 99 or 100. I can't remember, because I was angry with that exam. Check the exam dates, whether they're clashing or not. If they're clashing, make sure that you are going to want to be in the what do you call it, in the other coming exam as an accredited or whatever. Final timetable is currently available on my UNISA under my admin. Some modules don't have exams. Assignment are the exams themselves. Therefore, aim to score high. Imagine that's when you are given a chance to open a book because no one is watching you. There's no owl on this one. The owl is not there. It's not Alexander here. So therefore, you open because, and I think UNISA must change this thing of owl. Why? Because some people have got a perception about owls. So therefore, Africans have got perception about owls. But the owls, they're coming with sorcerers, witchcraft. So, you have got two challenges. You've got stress of an owl. You are being wished in the exam. Suka my daughter. This is crazy. UNISA must take out the owl and put maybe a goat. I don't know. Maybe the person who put it this might be not non-African, say Western. Say Western, right? Africans have got too much understanding about this owl, so they are stressed during an exam by seeing an owl. They think the witchcraft has followed them in the exam. No, this is an owl which is coming from UNISA people. Right, next one. Right, before exam, you're going to check through the old exam question papers. Remember, revise them, you check them. That's become a routine. And once you become a routine, that's why even the people who are doing chorus at church, they go for rehearsal. That rehearsal, they train their songs and so on. Witchcraft. They go to rehearse, they rehearse, and it become automacy. Automacy, it means that everything they become a simple rule of thumb, heuristic. Then you can take it out the way you want anytime you want to take it out. So you avoid procrastination, because if you procrastinate, you are more likely not to even get job done. So that becomes a problem. Then what happens should you not complete? And then don't stress. Whatever you wrote, just say to yourself, I think I passed with this one. So because stressing yourself, it's like coming from interview and you remember the answer for another question that they ask you, but it's not say it. Don't worry. Maybe they won't worry about that. Then they'll give you if you are the one who qualifies. Should you complete? All those aspects lead you to become stressed and so on. So therefore, make sure that you leave much time for you to prepare for exam. Oh, you won't see my face. Yo, these women. Hey, I don't want anyone to see me. Oh, so you're gonna put your face. Your face is like mine. Next one. Exam continues. How to start? Sessions should be 40 to 45 minutes. By 40 to 45 minutes, we're talking about you 1 hour. 15 minutes is for break, ne? And a break is not the time for you to go to WhatsApp, because WhatsApp will disturb you. Somebody's gonna say we're busy drinking. It's Davidon. Then they will frustrate you. So don't watch WhatsApp. WhatsApp is the most destructive things ever made for human. WhatsApp. Therefore, take 5 to 10 minutes break in between. Make time to revise for 5 minutes. How to minimize distraction. Write down whatever might be worrying you. Set a realistic study plan. Explain to others what you are preparing. Switch off TV, cell phone when studying. Because I know cell phones, your friends will call you, your family will call you, and then you start shouting there. Your brain is disturbed. The moment you start to have a negative attitude towards something, you are not going to be able to complete your exam. Yeah, don't worry, I'll show you my face, because I want you, when you meet me by the mall, you must say, Chief, let's go and get you some coffee or a drink. I don't drink alcohol. I'm talking about coffee and drink, please. I will show you my face, don't worry. When you meet me by the mall, say, yes, I know you from somewhere. Please, let's go. But don't hijack me. Right. Revision, test yourself, set the limits, practice in the way that you are going to be tested. The day before, physical strategies, study regularly up to the day before the exam. You are revising, you are not studying a new thing. If ever somebody tells you new information the day of exam, pretend as if you do not hear him. Because the moment you open that book trying to check that information, you are going to corrupt the old information that you know. And the chances are, say to yourself, they won't ask this question in the back of your mind. Don't discuss questions the day before exam. The day of exam with somebody else. Keep yourself closer to yourself. Do not even. That's why my principle is, I do not even want those people, they will tell me. I always go there when I'm going to start writing, because I hate to be disturbed when my brain works differently. So when I cram my things, I don't want to be disturbed when people are talking. It becomes a distraction. That's why at most I finish my exam 30 or 45 minutes first hour. And then I become frustrated because I cannot go out. I have to wait for the first hour to finish. That's me. You can't be like me. Don't even try to be like me. You are going to be more stressed. Last minute cramming does not work. Do not try anything new. Supplement, energy boosters, etc. Please don't use the. What is it? Imagine somebody drinking dragon. Imagine a student of UNISA. That is why that owl is looking at you. You're busy with a dragon. You are drunk with the dragon. Then you see an owl, you see 5 owls. Do not drink the dragon energy drinks. Drink pure water. The research indicates that people who drink water into exam, they have got 5% more marks than any other person. Not people who drink dragon. What is it? Bioplus. What? Are you going to be a rat when you want to drink Bioplus? Guys, stop drinking these energy drinks. They're just going to make your heart race. The heart is racing in your body. You are more stressed, and then the heart is racing, and you're going to exam. Then You are going to faint there in the house. That's why you're going to be going up and down. The iris think that you are busy with something else, which is not the right thing. You understand? So those are the aspects of the things that you need to think about. So it's important for you to think about that in the simple manner. You understand? So having said that, it's very important for you to think in that regards. Next, the due day. Check your timetable again. Check your device. Verify if your device is working well. Don't tell me, hey, I did not download Iris, whereas they gave you enough time to download it in time. So you must always download those Iris and so on in time so that you won't have a problem. So you need to have enough time to do all those things, set alarm and so on to help you to wake up on time and so on. Because you're going to sleep too late and then the exam is starting now, you are more stressed than ever before. Next one. During exam, read over the exam paper before you start to know your mark value of each question. Your answer must be based on the mark allocated. So make sure that the marks allocated is the one which guides you how much you must answer. Multiple choice exam, submit your answers on my UNISA exam tab. For written exam, handwrite, scan. They've already spoken about this, my learned colleague, Kolile. So these are there as well. Next one. This one of academic integrity, I think I'll jump it because they told you a lot about it. Okay, I will just talk about the results outstanding, and the disciplinary hearing. They said DP. Guys, please, I don't want you to come to my place and then talk about you are stressed because of you were busy. Iris says you were stealing. So no, please, from now onwards, Iris is a very friendly person. I did not know that he's so friendly that you can tell them I'm going to the loo. So make sure that you learn and understand. I think Kolile has given you the leeway, and if you still want to talk to him or chat to him, please ask every question related to the proto-king on the chat box. He's still going to answer them. I will ask him to answer them and go through there to answer. We work together. We work very closely. He's a very nice gentleman. I know he go extra mile for UNISA students and for the students as a whole. After exam, please, don't go back to look for the question in the book to check whether the answer was correct. You are going to depress yourself. And remember, you still have upcoming exams. So if you are going to have an upcoming exam and when you are stressing yourself again, you are more likely not to study for the upcoming exam. Don't worry about things which has passed. Focus on the upcoming. It is not the end. Celebrate, reflect, register, pass, celebrate, and reflect. Distinction, celebrate and reflect. Exam results. Then think about making a job-giving CV, because your CV becomes the window to the company to tell you to come through for the interview.
We presenting on behalf of Mr. Shivambu. We have Mrs. Madonsela, who will be presenting about disciplinary matters that you as students need to be mindful of. If you don't want to find yourself in hot waters, please pay attention and absorb as much information as possible. Mrs. Madonsela, please introduce yourself to our students, and I hope you have a pleasant presentation. The platform is all yours.
As I've been introduced, I'm Mrs. Kensani Madonsela, and I'll be presenting on disciplinary matters. As a disciplinary office, we deal with all sorts of misconducts. And it's quite sad that most students still don't know that there's a student disciplinary office in UNISA, and they think that they can get away with cheating during exams. The student disciplinary office at UNISA is guided by a lot of policies, and one of them is the student disciplinary code. I would advise all the students to go to the UNISA website and get this student disciplinary code, as it has all the charges we can charge the students with and all the guidelines that that are there for disciplinary hearings. The student disciplinary code is aimed at upholding the name and reputation of the university, maintaining order, ensuring integrity, and assuring quality of the assessment processes. Any misconduct of which any conduct of a student which contravenes the student disciplinary code and impacts on the goals may be regarded as a misconduct and will be subjected to a disciplinary hearing. Okay, as I've said, there's a couple of misconducts that we usually deal with at the disciplinary office, but I'll be focusing on examination irregularities as well as plagiarism. When we talk of exam irregularities, we talk of students cheating by making use of textbooks, study guides when they're not allowed to during an exam, or probably venue-based exams. We do have those for CTA students where students bring in unauthorized notes, and that's not allowed. We also have plagiarism, which is the submission of your work for assessment that was copied or reproduced from another student, another study material, or any published material. This is a dishonesty and is to mislead an examiner while assessment is in place. Since the genesis of online examinations, there's been a hike in a number of misconducts. And one of the problems that we have is ghostwriting, where students go to service providers and seek for exam solutions. And that is not allowed, because we will find out as students, you actually end up thinking that that service provider is actually servicing you alone. But in the meantime, plenty more students have that solution. You end up making the same mistakes, and we do notice such. There's also collusion, where students work together in groups. A lot of students do that, and we can detect when students are writing in groups because you make use of invigilator apps, you make use of Iris, and those proctoring tools can detect your location and everything. The sounds, the script comparisons, if the scripts are similar, so you need to be careful of such. There's also cheating. Like I said, unauthorized notes, or probably asking someone to write the exam on your behalf. That happens a lot, and we do actually end up finding out. So you need to avoid such. You need to also avoid making use of sites like Stuvia and Gimme Notes or AI platforms. Avoid doing that, because particularly for your research modules, you get your information from studio.com and you find that plenty more students have taken information from that site, and you end up having the same submissions. So you need to avoid such. Okay, there's also fabrication, which is, let's say you're doing a teaching course and you go to a certain school for practicals. You tell us that you went for practicals, and yet at the same time you did not, but you have the stamp, you have everything, and we end up finding out. You need to avoid that. Plagiarism. There are many different kinds of plagiarism. Plagiarism, like I said, which is a use of ideas or materials without acknowledging or passing it as your own. So whenever they say you do your research module or you need to submit a portfolio, avoid copy and paste. Learn to reference, particularly law students. You need to learn to reference, use the referencing guide. Usually the tutorial letters indicate which referencing tool you need to use, which referencing style. I know the law college uses Oscola. There's also Oxford and a couple of more styles of referencing. So you follow the referencing style that has been prescribed for your college and paraphrase each and every single sentence. You need to acknowledge that you've taken the source from the source, maybe online, or the source from the textbook, from your study guide. Acknowledge the sources that you make use of. Okay, the disciplinary processes. Usually the students get flagged by the Invigilator apps, which is your Invigilator app, the IRIS, and also when the lecturers are marking, they get to see that there are similarities in students' scripts, and they refer them to the disciplinary office. Depending on the severity of your case and the level of study, a warning might be issued, meaning that the student will be given the opportunity to re-register for the module without any penalties. Usually, when you have a disciplinary, you will see a disciplinary pending next to your mark. You will see a disciplinary pending, and you need to follow up on that with your lecturer in the disciplinary office. Should your case be referred for a formal disciplinary hearing, the student will be notified of the date, the evidence as to why we're charging you, and we will provide you with a link to that meeting where your hearing will be held. Each matter will be heard and considered by the Student Disciplinary Committee. A committee is made up of different members from different colleges. It's not just one person deciding on your fate. There will be an initiator who will bring the charges on behalf of the university. Often the lecturer is to lead evidence during the hearings, indicating why the student has been flagged. Each case would be dealt with on its own merits. Like we cannot treat a first-year student the very same way we treat a post-grad student. We expect you at that level, at a post-grad level, to have an understanding of our policies and how we do things, and you should know what's expected of you. Okay, the disciplinary office will then communicate the outcome to the student once all the proceedings have taken place. And after that, you have the option of appealing. The student will have the option of appealing the decision should he or she not be satisfied with the outcome. This is to be done within 7 days of when the sanction letter is issued. So after the hearing, we give you about 2 weeks, and then we give you the outcome from the disciplinary committee. When we give you that outcome, we then inform you that you need to appeal within a certain period. While we're waiting for all the disciplinary processes to unfold, students are eligible to carry on with their studies. We do not stop you from studying until all the university processes have taken place. Only once the appeal outcome is communicated by the Student Disciplinary Appeals Committee can the disciplinary office respond to the student with an outcome. If the appeal is in the favor of the student, marks will be released, the sanction may be reduced. It depends on like I said, on the severity of the case and how you present yourself during the hearings. If the appeal outcome is not favorable to the student, the sanction imposed by the SDC, which is the Student Disciplinary Committee, will be actioned, and the student will be blocked from all academic activities. So, if you are suspended for cheating, you will be halted from studying with UNISA, and you will be stopped from studying with any other institutions. We have the right to do that. And when we say all academic activities, you cannot access your record. You cannot write your exams. It's not just for that particular module that you're suspended for. It's for all academic activities. Should you be suspended for, let's say, we suspend you for 2 years. When at the lapse of that 2 years, you come back, you re-register, and you carry on from where you left off. You do not have to start your degree or honors or whatever from start. For the disciplinary hearings and appeals, students may represent themselves, or they may choose to be represented by employee or student of university. Usually the RCC is very hands-on when it comes to disciplinary matters. They assist students in every way possible. So should you have such an incident, unfortunately, you would have to go through the disciplinary process, and the SRC will be there to assist. Suspension. Should you be suspended? Should you be found guilty of any misconduct, the suspension period can vary from 1 year to 5 years. But should the misconduct even be more severe, we can even go above 5 years suspension where you cannot study. You can also have the qualification revoked. We cancel your registration and you forfeit all the monies paid. So should you be, let's say you get suspended, you go for your hearing this semester, you get suspended the following semester, and you've already paid for that particular semester, you're not going to get a refund. You will forfeit all the money. Suspension means that you are blocked from participating in all academic activities, as I've said. We've suspended thousands of students, unfortunately, and the numbers keep rising, especially since this online learning, because students feel that they can get away with cheating. There are 2 grounds where a student can appeal once you've undergone the disciplinary processes. You can appeal the sanction that if it's harsh, and you can also appeal the procedure if you feel that it was unfair, but you need to have a valid ground of appeal. In the hearings, we usually, we aim to establish whether there has been rules that were broken, and we have to prove on a balance of probabilities that those rules have been broken. So we will give you the opportunity to give your side of the story during the hearings, explain yourself to the committee. It's not just one-sided, where we just charge you and we give you a sanction. We also seek to get your side of the story and try to move on positively. Okay, due to constantly increasing number of incidents, there is an increased backlog and delays in resolving disciplinary issues. We plead with you students that should you be subjected to a disciplinary, follow up with the lecturers, follow up with the disciplinary office to check how far your matter is, and we will get to it. Prevention. Since you're about to write your exams, as I've said earlier, avoid getting solutions from third parties. You're not the only students they're serving. They're serving thousands more, and we will pick it up that you are using a bot solution. Avoid using sites like Stuvia and Give Me Notes. Avoid copy and paste. Paraphrase. Learn to paraphrase. Do not just copy and paste. Give your own understanding of what the lecturers are testing you on. Don't just recite back as in the textbook or as in the study guide. Just give your own understanding. That's what we're trying to find out. Avoid using artificial intelligence programs because they can be detected. Even the Turnitin system, it can detect artificial intelligence programs that they have been used. Do not write in groups. UNISA has a zero tolerance towards plagiarism and cheating and any type of misconduct. We try to raise awareness as much as possible. We do road shows, we do inform students whenever possible, whenever we get a chance, to know that there really is a student disciplinary office at UNISA that deals with exam irregularities. So the email address is there. Please contact this email address, examscriptdisciplinary@unisa.ac.za. Should you find yourself in hot water regarding disciplinary issues. That's it for me today.
The only thing that I'm going to just wonder about for the exams, because I love these speakers, like they covered all the main points. Do we need an invigilator app when we have a webcam on our computer? I'm just making sure.
The Invigilator app is not designed to be installed onto your computer. So whether or not you have a webcam installed on your computer, the Invigilator app must be installed onto your smartphone. So it will it will proctor you through the phone. You will get some sounds coming up. Then you need to follow that instruction that will come from the phone as to what is the next step that you need to follow according to that kind of instruction you will get there. It will only be yeah. Okay, let me
sorry,
just round off. It's relevant to have the webcam working and installed onto your laptop if your exam requires for you to use the iris proctoring tool. And I think as I was looking through the comments, Ms. Nyandeni did put through a nice little picture of which kinds of colleges are using the Invigilator app and which ones are using the iris. I did see that, and I was actually taking a screen grab of it because that will help a lot, and that one knows what is which Invigilator app is applicable for which particular college. Thank you, sir. Yeah.
I checked both of the modules that I'm worried about, but they didn't say that there was an Invigilator app.
Okay, there is also, I'm gonna try and if the colleagues doesn't have it at hand, I will see if I can find, there's usually a link where you put in the module codes, then it gives you an idea of what proctoring tool you are using. So I'm gonna
No,
look
that's
for
the one I'm talking about. It didn't say anything.
Good day, colleagues. Sorry to jump in. It's Pilisi where I just want to give clarity to the questions that is being answered. I'm from the proctoring office. Okay, the modules that I put in a link that will be assisting students, but the link can only be used from next week. That will determine which in the college that you are in and which the module that you are using, whether it's going to require you to use the Invigilator app, the iris or Moodle. But you said you are from College of Law. So the student from the College of Law will be using the Invigilator app and also the Moodle, depending on the questions, the type of the questions that they will be asking. If it's a take-home question, meaning the written exam, then you're going to use the Invigilator app. But if it's going to be the quiz question or the multiple choice question, then you'll use the Moodle. And with the webcam that we are referring to, the webcam is used when we are writing, when we are using your model. That's where you'll be taking random pictures of you. And I hope I've clarified your question, thanks.
My question is, in terms of open book exam, do we reference and cite our answers? And again, where do we find the previous question papers? Because it's difficult to find them. Thank you.
Open book exam, you don't need to reference. You are just going to write an answer, but still you are not going to copy. As Ms. Nyanden has mentioned, you need to learn to paraphrase because you don't need to copy what is in the book. The lecturer knows already what is in the book. They want your understanding about what is written on the book.
The second question was, where do we get previous question papers?
Or at most if they're not there, it's fine, but at most they are there at my UNISA. If you go to my UNISA in a specific module, they used to have a previous question papers there. But because maybe exam has changed so much, you might not find them because they no longer ask those kind of things. They are outdated. If there is none, don't distress because they are outdated. So they will ask you what is new. Then you will be creating new question paper for the upcoming students. So in fact, you are innovators. Thank you very much.
My question is mostly about the disciplinary status. I wanted to find out, like, let's say, for example, you get a disciplinary status and then you get a warning and then you re-register or rewrite the module. Should you get another disciplinary status on a different module? Is it going to be flagged as is a student going to be flagged as somebody who has done it before, or a warning just says you are warned and then they dismiss that they've ever flagged you?
There are two types of offenders. We have a first-time offender, which is when you will get your warning, and we give you another opportunity to re-register for the module. And we also have what is called a repeat offender. If you are a repeat offender, we are definitely going to take you for a formal disciplinary hearing.
and that the previous warning will be taken into consideration as well.
I want to get the previous question papers so that I can practice with. And I've joined Telegram. On Telegram, I've been banned, and I don't know what I have done. And when I try to go on Google and try these gym notes, it says that my code, my student code is missing. Or even if I write the name of the course, it says it's missing. What does that mean? How can I access my previous question paper, the previous question papers, so that I can practice with?
I think Mr. Magani did actually respond to it, that the culture has changed from what it was in the past, where students would have access to previous examination papers, but that is no more happening. So in, let's say, 90% of the cases, you will not find a previous examination paper because they change the paper all the time. So the students might not be able to access it through MyUnisa. In terms of the Telegram that she's banned for, it might most probably be because she asked for previous examination papers. There is rules to Telegram, though Telegram is not a UNISA program, but they do usually put down rules for students, which the students must follow, that if you're asking for things like an old exam paper, you can get banned for that, or you ask to start a WhatsApp group, thereon they ban you. So they've got many reasons why they are banning you on Telegram, which is for Telegram to I mean, it's really not for UNISA to decide why and for what reasons you have been banned there. Thank you.
Telegram is another thorn that we have within the university. Students are not, you can go and be part of Telegram, but do avoid using Telegram during exams, because you share notes, you share answers, and you end up being reported to the disciplinary office. Be careful of what you ask and what you post on Telegram, please.
I just have a question regarding student leave. So I'm also 8 till 5 part-time working and studying. So can I have like 2 weeks study leave or 1 week, or can I only have a day before and a day on the exam study leave? I just want to know that.
Yeah, it all depends on the preparation that you have put into your study. If you have been preparing all along when you are studying, so you can only ask for 2 days before exam, so that you can be able to be relaxed emotionally and physically, because it doesn't help to go to an exam when you are tired. So those are the aspects. But I don't think, because you imagine you have got 5 exams to write, and each one you need to take 2 weeks before. It will be very difficult, unless if you are going to take those 2 weeks for all of the exams. That also be advisable. But I would say rather have 2 days before exam, and then each exam you have 2 days before, which will help you to relax as well. But the preparation must be done way beyond before, so that you can be able to have enough time to prepare for exam. Thank you.
Okay, so I don't know if this is relevant or what, but I wanted to know about this registering of modules for second semester. Okay, so since I registered 10 modules for both semester 1 and semester 2, like 5, but I can only see 7 modules, which is 5 modules for this semester and then 2 modules for the next semester. So does that mean that I need to also register for like 3 more modules?
So it might be that in Majola's scenario that she has taken out the 10 modules, but 5 of them are most probably semester 1 modules. That's why you can access the material. The other 2 could possibly be year modules, and you can see that by a Y in the module code. When you're on MyUnisa, it will either have a Y or a S1 or a S2. Where it indicates S2, those modules will only, or the material for those modules will only be made available in the second semester. So you are not going to register for 3 more modules unless, you're not going to register for 3 more, because the maximum modules a student takes is 10 at UNISA per annum. So you've already taken out 10 modules. That means you are covered for the year. You will only wait for the others to open in the second semester or the material to become available. Then you start doing them with the remaining year modules, because the year modules will run until at least the end of the year, which will still put you at a 5 modules. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
So I wanted to know where do I access my link to write exams course?
Okay, the link will be on my exam portal, but the lecturers will also send the link because each and every college has got their own portal where the exams are accessible. So the lecturers will normally send in the link on the students' discussion groups on when they're going to, but also on the timetable, the exam portal, on the timetable, when you click on the module that you'll be writing on that day under my exam, it will take you to where you're going to be accessing a question paper.
I've been allocated to one of the groups, English 1503 group, but I can't access to it. I don't know why. I've been trying, but I can't access to it.
When you say group, what can you specify what you mean exactly when you say the group? Which group?
It's a learning group because it's English 1503 group. I got an email 2 weeks back, I think, saying I've been allocated to one of the group from English 1503, but I can't access to it. I've been trying, but I can't log in. It's giving me some sort of problems if I go through it.
So what is happening there is basically the student needs to sign into the MyUnisa to see the group firstly. So when you sign into your MyUnisa under your My Modules, you should have 2 Englishes, English with a short code 1503 and English with a long code that will usually start with, end with a number in a group or something like that, or a T. So that is the group for English that you would have been placed in. So what it essentially means is that the student has been allocated a teaching assistant who will be there to guide the student throughout the semester in terms of the English module. In some of the grouped modules, you would find that your assignments are placed in there, but others are still keeping the assignments in the master or the main group. So if it is that the student is looking to get access to the assignments, because the reason for you to be in a group is to access your assignments, your learning material, your teaching assistant, so that they can clarify aspects of the module to you. So all you do is to go there and see whether your assignments are there, accessible, are the learning material there, can you access them, can you have your teaching assistant through the discussion forum, I think, or announcements. Then you can always put your questions in announcements for the teaching assistant to actually respond to you. So it's nothing, I've always gotten this question from students. I think the students are thinking when they are put in a group, it's something that is out of the MyUnisa, something different that will most probably pop up on their phones where they will, interact with one another. It's basically just them adding an additional site in MyUnisa with the extended link for them to access learning content. And I think the main purpose is for them to access the teaching assistant, and that is how the teaching assistant can interact with the students. So I hope it clarifies it now to the student. If it is still a problem, my advice would be, if I'm allowed, I could always put down my email address for them to further, communicate to me over that. Thank you.
Can I just clarify to the student? I see most of them are busy asking one question, that they are getting an error on the Invigilator app that says their email is not confirmed by the university. I did address this matter yesterday to say that your email can only be confirmed after you have received an exam admission. So for now, the exam admission has not ran. As soon as you get a timetable, that means the exam would have ran, and only then can you be able to register on the Invigilator app. Thank you.
Oh yeah, I wanted to know, like, I'm doing diploma in law and I want to change to LLB. So I'm wondering if it's possible for me to change next year.
Only possible if you first pass your first year. I'm saying this because I don't know what were the admission requirements. because chances are, if you do not qualify to do a degree, therefore you qualify for a certificate and diploma. You cannot go straight to a degree before you get that diploma or a certificate. So therefore, it's important for you to check that admission requirements, because the first thing first, if your admission requirements, you were qualifying for a degree but you just opt for a diploma, yes, you can change easily. But if you do not qualify from the onset, rather first continue with the diploma, because what is good about it is that there is not much disparity between a diploma and a degree. It's just that degree has got less modules as compared to a diploma has got less modules as compared to the degree. So the moment you are moving from a degree to a diploma to degree, all the modules that you've done under the diploma, you find them up there. So if I were you, I will also consider doing my diploma. Then my 4th year, and so I'm going to do my LLB. Then you are just going to do the remaining modules. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
My UNISA was hacked and I wasn't able to go into my modules, my UNISA, my exams or anything like that. And with the exams coming up, I just want to make sure what would happen if my UNISA is hacked, because then when it's hacked, I can't send emails with even my I can't send emails using my life email. And I know that sending emails with personal emails, it takes longer for you to get a response. So how is one supposed to deal with that?
Okay, let me look at it. Okay, the hacking problem was identified last year, and there is intervention to the hacking, and that is students having to now authenticate themselves through an MFA process. If the authenticator app seems to give you problems in terms of giving your code when you must authenticate, or if your phone number gets to reflect different from that what your number is, bringing you down to the point of suspecting that you are being hacked because that is not your phone number, means that you have to have your cell phone number updated at a regional service center, where they give you a form DSAR 03, a copy of your ID, and then they update your phone number to reflect your current number. And then from the perspective of ICT, they update that phone number as well, so that the authentication process can go via the correct phone number to grant you access onto the MyUnisa platforms and your MyLife. That's the explanation I can give to that. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Caroline Mfikwe. I'm with the counseling unit at UNISA. At Ekurhuleni Regional Services Center. So firstly, I would like to thank Ms. Pinky Mwandla for that warm welcome during the start of our program. And thank you to our speakers, Mrs. Madonsela, Mr. Gaba, and Mr. Makahane for such informative and insightful presentations. And thank you again for availing yourselves for our students and investing your time, knowledge, and support to our students. And also, I would like to thank all our students for taking part in our workshop and honoring our invitation for both day 1 and day 2 of our workshop. The event would not have been possible without your presence and your participation. Thank you also to our technical team and everyone who was working behind the scenes to ensure that our programs run smoothly. And lastly, I would like to thank you, Ms. Maifadi, our program director, for ensuring that our event runs smoothly and is on schedule. So thank you very much, everyone. And also remember to fill in our evaluation form, which was posted on the chat box. Thank you, and over to you, Ms. Maifadi.
Thank you very much for giving us such a proper ending to our workshop. And like she mentioned, guys, please, if you haven't already, please click the DCCD evaluation link and do specify that you attended a group workshop session, please. That's very important that you say that you, there's the option is there. You make sure that you click the option that says that you attended a workshop. Thank you very much, guys. Like I said, our sessions will be were recorded, and the recordings will be shared with everybody who registered for our workshop. I'd like to thank you myself for participating with us, engaging with us, and attending day 1 and day 2 of our examination preparation workshop. We really do appreciate your attendance.